Your pepper plants look fine. They're green, they're growing. Maybe there are even a few flowers showing up. But the harvest? Disappointing. Small peppers, dropped flowers, barely any fruit, and you can't figure out why. Here's the truth most pepper videos won't tell you. The problem usually isn't your seeds, it's not your climate, and it's not bad luck. It's a small handful of container mistakes that quietly work against your plants every single day, and most gardeners have no idea they're making them. In this video, we're breaking down 3 mistakes that are secretly killing container pepper harvests. One of them causes flowers to fall off before they ever become peppers. Another is something almost every beginner does, and it looks completely harmless on the surface. And the third mistake is the one that changed everything once it was finally fixed. Stay with us through all 3, because the fix for that last one is surprisingly simple, and the results are dramatic. Before we get into it, drop a comment and let us know. What's the biggest problem you've had growing peppers in containers? We'd love to know what you're working with. Now, container peppers have exploded in popularity because they let you grow in tight spaces, patios, balconies, driveways, rooftops. You don't need a garden bed. You don't need a lot of land, a container and some sunlight, and theoretically you should be harvesting peppers all season long. But here's what most people don't realize. Peppers in containers are fundamentally different from peppers in the ground. The soil dries faster, nutrients flush out more quickly, roots have hard limits, and the plant responds to all of that stress in ways that directly destroy your harvest. Small mistakes that wouldn't matter in a garden bed become huge problems in a pot. Let's get into mistake number 1. Mistake number 1. The container is too small, and the plant is silently starving. Here's what you notice first. The plant is growing. It's producing leaves, maybe even reaching a decent height. But the stems look thin, the leaves are a little pale, and when flowers appear, they fall off before they ever set fruit. That's the frustrating part. Flowers are forming, which means the plant is trying, but something keeps stopping the process before it goes anywhere. The hidden cause is root crowding. When a pepper plant runs out of room underground, it shifts out of production mode and into pure survival mode. The roots hit the walls of the container, wrap around themselves, and start competing for the same limited resources. The plant can't uptake water and nutrients efficiently anymore. It's basically choking itself from the inside out. And here's why containers make this worse. In the ground, roots spread outward and downward indefinitely. In a pot, they hit a wall and stop. A pepper plant that looks medium-sized above the soil might have a root system that completely fills a small container within just a few weeks of active growth. The fix is straightforward, but the numbers matter. For a single pepper plant, the minimum container size is 5 gallons. That's the floor. But for most varieties, especially bell peppers, poblanos, or any large fruiting type, a 7 to 10 gallon container will produce significantly better results. More root space means better water uptake, better nutrient absorption, and a plant that actually has the resources to push fruit all the way to maturity. If you're already growing in a small pot and you're seeing those thin stems and dropping flowers, transplanting into a larger container mid-season can still rescue a struggling plant. It won't happen overnight, but within 2 to 3 weeks of transplanting into fresh soil with more room, most plants visibly recover. The stems thicken, new growth gets darker green and glossier, and flowers start holding instead of dropping. One thing to avoid here: don't assume a wide, shallow container solves the problem. Peppers need depth as much as width. A broad but shallow pot still restricts vertical root development, which limits the plant just as much as a narrow one. Imagine looking at 2 containers side by side. One is a cramped 5-inch pot stuffed with roots. The other is a deep 10-gallon container with loose, rich soil and room to grow. The difference in the plants above ground is dramatic. Thicker stems, larger leaves, more flowering sites, bigger peppers. That transformation starts underground. And suddenly, once those roots have space, the plant shifts from survival mode into production mode. That's when the harvest starts. But this next mistake is even more damaging because it looks like good gardening. Mistake number 2. Inconsistent watering is destroying your fruit. Here's the symptom that drives container pepper growers crazy. The plant looks healthy, good color, decent size, flowers forming, and then suddenly, the peppers that are developing start showing problems: blossom end rot, cracked skin, peppers that shrivel before they finish, or flowers that form perfectly and then just drop for no obvious reason. This is almost always a watering consistency problem. Here's what's happening inside the plant. Peppers need a steady, reliable supply of water to move calcium and other nutrients from the soil into developing fruit. When the soil swings between soaking wet and bone dry, even once, it disrupts that nutrient pipeline. Blossom end rot, for example, isn't actually caused by a calcium deficiency in your soil. It's caused by the plant's inability to transport the calcium that's already there, because inconsistent moisture breaks the delivery system. Containers make this problem dramatically worse for a simple reason. Pots dry out much faster than garden beds. The surface area exposed to air and sun is higher relative to soil volume. A container sitting on a sun-baked patio in summer can go from adequately moist to completely dry in less than 24 hours on a hot day. And most gardeners water on a schedule that made sense in spring but doesn't keep up with peak summer demand. The fix isn't complicated, but it does require a shift in how you think about watering. Instead of watering on a fixed schedule, water based on the soil. Stick your finger 2 inches into the soil. If it's dry at that depth, water thoroughly, until water drains freely from the bottom of the container. If it's still moist, wait. That's it. The until water drains from the bottom part is important. Light watering only wets the top few inches of soil, leaving the lower root zone dry. The roots that are working hardest, the deeper ones, never get what they need. Deep, thorough watering followed by a period of drying is what pepper roots are designed for. Adding a layer of mulch to the top of your container makes a significant difference here. 2 inches of straw, wood chips, or even shredded leaves dramatically slows evaporation from the soil surface. On a hot day, a mulched container holds moisture noticeably longer than a bare one. That buffer alone can stabilize the wet-dry cycles that cause so much fruit damage. One thing to avoid: don't water on a rigid schedule without checking the soil first. Watering every day regardless of conditions creates constant oversaturation, which suffocates roots and causes a different set of problems: yellowing leaves, root rot, and a plant that ironically looks like it's drought-stressed even while being overwatered. Think about what this looks like in practice. You're checking your peppers one morning, and you notice the developing fruit looks healthy, firm, and glossy. The color is deepening, the skin is smooth. There's no cracking, no soft spots, no rot. That's what consistent moisture does. It keeps every pepper on the plant developing evenly, all the way to a full, satisfying harvest. Have your pepper flowers ever dropped suddenly right after a dry spell? That's exactly what we're describing. Drop a comment. It happens to almost everyone at least once, and now you know exactly why. At this point, you realize most pepper problems aren't caused by bad plants. They're caused by small container mistakes that slowly reduce production. The kind of mistakes that are easy to miss because the plant keeps looking okay on the surface while quietly falling apart underneath. That's what makes these mistakes so damaging. The plant doesn't die. It just produces less and less, and you spend the whole season wondering why it never really performed. The third mistake is the most overlooked one, and fixing it made the biggest difference. Mistake number 3. The wrong fertilizer is keeping your peppers vegetative instead of productive. Here's what this one looks like. The plant is absolutely thriving. Lush, dark green, fast growing, beautiful foliage. You're feeling good about it. But the flower count is low. The peppers that do form are small. The plant just keeps pushing out more leaves instead of fruit. It looks like success, but the harvest doesn't match the appearance. This is a fertilizer imbalance problem. Specifically, too much nitrogen at the wrong time. Nitrogen is the nutrient responsible for leaf and stem growth. It's the green nutrient. Early in the season, when you're trying to build a strong, healthy plant structure, nitrogen is exactly what you want. But once your pepper plant is established and you're ready for it to start flowering and fruiting heavily, Too much nitrogen tells the plant to keep growing leaves instead of making peppers. The plant is getting exactly what you're giving it, just not what you actually need it to do. In containers, this is amplified because nutrients flush out of pots faster than garden beds. So growers compensate by feeding more often and more heavily, which can accidentally push nitrogen levels too high, right when the plant should be shifting into fruit production. The fix is a nutritional pivot. Once your pepper plant has reached a good size and flowers are beginning to appear, switch from a balanced or nitrogen-heavy fertilizer to one with higher phosphorus and potassium. Look for a fertilizer where the middle and last numbers on the NPK label are higher than the first, something like a 5-10-10 or a 4-8-8. Phosphorus directly supports flower formation and fruit development. Potassium strengthens cell walls and improves overall fruit quality and disease resistance. The switch doesn't have to be dramatic. Even moving from a balanced 10-10-10 to something like a tomato and pepper formula with elevated phosphorus makes a measurable difference. You'll typically see an increase in flowering within 2 to 3 weeks of adjusting the feeding program. Now here's something most gardeners overlook entirely: pollination. In a garden bed, wind and insects handle pollination naturally. In a container on a balcony or patio, that process is reduced. Fewer insects visit. Wind patterns are different, and flowers can form and drop without ever getting pollinated, which means no fruit, no matter how healthy the plant is. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Once or twice a week, gently shake your pepper plant for a few seconds. That's it. The vibration transfers pollen within the flowers. Some growers use a small electric toothbrush held against the stem for a few seconds. The vibration mimics the buzzing of a bee and works extremely well for individual flowers. Either approach dramatically improves fruit set in container environments where natural pollination is limited. One thing to avoid here: don't continue feeding a heavy nitrogen fertilizer all season out of habit. A lot of gardeners use whatever fertilizer they started with right through to the end of the season without ever adjusting. That single habit, using the same formula from seedling to harvest, is quietly suppressing fruit production on thousands of container pepper plants right now. Picture what the corrected version looks like. The foliage is still healthy and green, but now the plant is covered in flowers, and those flowers are holding. They're setting fruit. The peppers that form are thick-walled, deeply colored, and growing to full size instead of stalling out small. The stems are bending slightly under the weight of developing fruit. That's what a pepper plant looks like when the nutrition finally matches what it actually needs. What type of peppers are you growing this year? Bell peppers, jalapeños, habaneros, something more unusual? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to see what's growing in your containers. So let's bring it all together. 3 mistakes, 3 fixes, and all of them are completely within your control. The first mistake, container size, is about giving your pepper plant's roots the room they need to actually function. A cramped root system produces a stressed, unproductive plant no matter how well you do everything else. The second mistake, inconsistent watering, is about protecting the nutrient pipeline that keeps your fruit developing all the way to harvest. Even one dramatic dry spell can cause flower drop and fruit damage that takes weeks to recover from. And the third mistake, fertilizer imbalance and poor pollination, is about understanding that a beautiful leafy plant and a productive plant are 2 very different things. Shifting your nutrition toward phosphorus and supporting pollination manually can completely transform what your container peppers actually produce. The smallest container mistakes create the biggest harvest problems, but they're also the easiest to fix once you know what you're looking for. And once you fix them, container peppers can become one of the most rewarding crops you grow: productive, colorful, and genuinely satisfying to harvest. Which of these 3 mistakes surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments, and if you found this helpful, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We cover container growing, backyard food production, and the specific strategies that actually move the needle on your harvests.